I was going to tell you Wix is.
No, sure.
Okay. Wix is an awesome do-it-yourself website building service, and Christine Cha works with Wix, and she's going to present today. She's an awesome person, and I think their office is 23rd and 7th, and if you're a customer, you can go there for free coffee, which is tasty. Tea, Wi-Fi, the chairs are comfortable. So with that, can we give Christine a warm round of applause and welcome her?
Thank you. Is this working? We're all good? Everyone's set in the back? Can you hear me? Okay. So just finishing off what Ramon said, Wix.com is a drag and drop, super easy website builder where you can build your own website without knowing any code or having any design experience. And also, like he said, we have a place called the Wix Lounge on 23rd Street between 7th and 8th. And that's where, as a Wix user, you can actually come and get free one-on-one support for your website, for your business. We offer educational programming about all facets of marketing for your business. So if you have any questions later on, I have my cards here. You can come up and ask me. My email, I'm going to put up at the end. It's christine@wix.com, also on my cards, but you can always shout out via Twitter. And our hashtag is Wix Events. So if you want to shout out at any time during this event, which you definitely should because we're talking about social media marketing, we use the hashtag Wix Events and the handles Wix or Wix Lounge. So that's my housekeeping for today. And we're going to talk about social strategy for your business. So the presentation is going to be broken up into two main parts. So one, we're going to start thinking about what social media strategy is and the mindset we have to get into in order to create something successful. And then part two is more hands-on, practical. Okay, this is great advice and ideas, but how do I actually do this when I have a business to run and I don't have time for all of this stuff? So we're going to break it up into two pieces. So starting off with the big picture. So when you're talking about driving traffic to your business, to your website, to your project, whatever it is, it all ends up being about building trust. So in today's super saturated world in terms of, everyone goes on Facebook, on Twitter, and you're just bombarded with advertisement and promotion. Everyone is out there promoting themselves, whether it's one person or huge companies. And so this stuff really doesn't work anymore. Just repetitive promotion talking about you all the time, saying, buy this, I have a sale, come to my store, come see this project, sign up for my mailing list. All of those things are really painful for visitors and customers to hear. So things that you want to do are things like this. So sharing things that actually matter. So why spend thousands of dollars into creating a promotion video for your website or for your business when no one is going to share it? When it says, oh, this is my business, I'm awesome. Why would anyone want to share that on their personal profile? Right? We're going to talk about content that's actually interesting. Content that I, as a person, as a human, would say, hey, this is a really amazing video for other reasons than the commercial value. And this is why I'm going to share this on my personal profile. Interacting with real people. So that's something a lot of people forget about social media. They think this is this online world that doesn't really exist, but these are real people. And the best thing you can do is interact with them, comment on their photos. If you are a business who targets illustrators and artists and creatives, go on their Instagram profiles and comment on how awesome their work is. This is a great way to meet people online. Think of it as networking online, not just pressing buttons and sending out information about yourself. Listening to your audience, constantly tweaking your message and figuring out what they actually want, what they are engaging with, and what they're not, and starting to weed out the things that aren't working so well. And I'm going to start off with these three basic content strategy rules to get started. And number one, most important of anything you can possibly do for social media is make actually interesting content. People hate to hear this because it's the hardest thing that you can do. You'll hear tons of people say, buy 10,000 likes for X amount of money, or hire me to do your social, or spend 10 hours and get X amount of followers. All of those things are great, short-term options for you, but in order to make an actual lasting effect, you need to go and spend the time and make great content. So what makes content great? Content that is great, gives your viewer value. So whether it's beautiful, inspiring, funny, surprising, those are 4 words I like to use to describe great content. Because if you see great content, it's one of those 4 things, or if it's amazing, it's probably all 4 of those things. You're going to be much more willing to share that. So give your viewers that value. I'm going to give you a couple examples. This is actually a Wix user. He has a Wix website called Make Blackout Poetry. So this is one guy who kind of started this project by accident. He was working as an office manager and he hated his job. And he was sitting at the reception desk and he would start crossing out words in the newspaper, in magazines, and he created this thing called Make Blackout Poetry, where you basically block out all the other words that you don't want in your poem from a book page, whatever it is, and you make these mini poems. So he started doing them. He opened up an Instagram account. He now has over 25,000 followers on Instagram. Remember, this is one guy doing this on the side at the beginning. He's participated in numerous huge art events in his hometown, Atlanta. And we've actually done an event with him. We found him online and we went down and did a huge event with him when we went down to Atlanta. So this has grown into this huge snowball of amazingness. And what he does on his Instagram is pretty basic, nothing fancy. He follows people, he interacts with people. But one amazing thing he does, what he started to do, was he started to feature other people's poetry on his Instagram handle. Now that is a way to create real tangible value for your followers. To say, if you follow me and you interact with me and you give me something, I'll give you back something. I'll give you back promotion on my really awesome and well-followed Instagram handle. So that's exponentially growing his Instagram handle now. Every single week he shares someone else's artwork and people love it because people are saying, okay, if I follow him, maybe I'll get a chance to get featured. But it also becomes a place where it's a discussion. It's no longer me, me, me. And that's really where you want to get to. Another example, I'm not going to play this video, I have another video, so we're just going to do one video today. But this was an ad by Kate Spade for their Christmas promotion. And what they did was, rather than saying we have this huge sale for Christmas, come buy our stuff, which they also did. But they put out this video with Anna Kendrick wearing all of the different Christmas items that they had, from coats to shoes to iPhone cases. Everything is compiled in this video. And they never once mention the sale or the Christmas holiday or Kate Spade even. They just have their logo at the end. So that's something you should definitely look into. The Kate Spade marketing team has this really on point. And I'll show you other videos that convey the same message.
What's the full length of that Kate Spade video? I couldn't see it.
It's about 2 minutes. Yeah. They have different versions for any promotion video. There's usually a 15-second version, 30-second, 1 minute, 2 minute. I would say that's a good question because 2 minutes is way long for something like a video on your website or social media. 15 seconds to 30 seconds is usually the prime length. But the full length is about 2 minutes. Taco Bell. I always bring in Taco Bell in social media discussions because they're hilarious and they do ridiculous things that have nothing to do with tacos. And they never sell their product. If you go on their Twitter handle, they're just talking back to their clients. They're just sharing jokes. They're being like that guy next door. And they've created this persona where they can send things like this on Snapchat. So they are really pushing the focus on their personality. It's all about personality. So that's one extreme that you can go to, is establish yourself so much on social media that people are interacting with you like a person rather than a brand. And that's huge for you because people trust you a lot more when they feel like you're a human being and not a brand. So definitely check out what Taco Bell is doing. Sign up for their Snapchat. They have about 3 million people following them on Snapchat. Outrageous number of people who are getting these like silly drawn-on taco images all day. Definitely check that out. So this is a video I am going to show you. This is an ad by IKEA. Brilliant, brilliant ad, and it does all 4 of those things that we talked about. It's beautiful, it's beautifully made, it's inspiring because they think of things a whole new way that you might have not thought of. It's funny. That's a clear one. And it's very surprising. What they do with a could be boring IKEA catalog in this ad is amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that video.
And while you bring that up, Christine, I just
Sure.
want to echo that it's amazing that I think what Christine shows is that it doesn't take just big businesses or small businesses, but I'm hearing Christine creativity. So I just want to echo
Absolutely.
that.
You know, once in a while, something comes along that changes the way we live. A device so simple and intuitive,
Shoot.
using it.
Okay, hold on a second. Here we go, that's much better.
You know, once in a while, something comes along that changes the way we live. A device so simple and intuitive, using it feels almost familiar. Introducing the 2015 IKEA catalog. It's not a digital book or an e-book. It's a book. The first thing to note is no cables, not even a power cable. The 2015 IKEA catalog comes fully charged and the battery life is eternal. The interface is 7.5 by 8 inches, but can expand to 15 by 8 inches. The navigation is based on tactile touch technology that you can actually feel. Content comes pre-installed via 328 high-definition pages of inspiring and furnishing ideas. To start browsing, simply touch and drag. Right to left to move forwards, left to right to move backwards. Notice something else? That's right, no lag. Each crystal clear page loads instantaneously, no matter how fast you scroll. If you want to get a quick overview, just hold it in the palm of your hand and using just your thumb, speed browse the content. If you find something you want to save for later, you can simply bookmark it. And even if you close the application, you can easily find the bookmark again. Amazing. What about multiple users? For that, we've introduced a simple color coding system to avoid confusion. If you want to share a particularly inspiring item, you literally share it. Another special feature is password protection, which is voice activated. Excuse me, that's mine. At IKEA, we feel that technology this life enhancing should be in the hands of everyone. So the 2015 IKEA catalog is free. You can download one from your mailbox, the one you open with the key. If it's not there, try refresh the next day. Or you can upload yourself to the IKEA store and find one there. Experience the power of a book.
So that's one of my favorite examples of amazing content that spreads the message. Yeah, IKEA catalog, we've all seen one, we know what that is, but makes something really, really interesting where I would actually share that on my personal profile. That's the barrier that you want to break, is the barrier where they say, okay, you want your clients to actually be sharing this with their friends, and that's a hard one to do because they know that they're promoting your brand by doing that, and that's something that people feel against, just hearing the thought of that. Let me go back to our presentation here. The last one I wanted to talk about here is the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, which was hugely popular in 2014. Everyone was doing it. So last summer, if you don't know about it, tons of people from all over the world, different companies, individuals, student groups, dumped buckets of ice water on their head in order to promote ALS. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because they do a couple of really key things that are important to every social media campaign to be successful. They made it easy. Everyone has access, well, not everyone, but a lot of people most people who have internet have access to buckets, water, and ice. People can nominate other folks. So if you have friends, you tell them that they should do this too. So you have this natural growth that's built into the campaign. That's huge. And the last one is making your clients or your customers or your fans or will be your supporters, whoever your group is, feel like they're part of something bigger. And that's a huge thing that this campaign did, is that they made everyone, no matter how small or insignificant they were before this, be able to promote a video of themselves on YouTube that was hugely supported, and they felt like they were making a difference. So that's really huge. That's a very powerful combination. So going through these, these are companies, organizations with big budgets. They have a lot of money, they have a lot of manpower. So the reason why we want to show this to small business owners is that, okay, if you didn't have the budget and you didn't have the manpower and you didn't have the time to do this, the takeaways here are: make it really easy for your clients. Make them feel like they're part of something bigger. The bigger doesn't have to be that they're changing the world. It can be that they're part of your business, they're part of your story. That's important, that's valuable to customers. For this video, surprise them. Don't make something the same way that everyone else is making them. And also, in this one, is explore mediums that no one's talking about. Paper. No one has been talking about that anymore because everyone's about social media, email marketing, sending digital ads, all of that. No one's talking about books. So go into niches where people have stopped talking about them. Everything goes in cycles. So there's always an area where you can hit that people aren't really paying attention to lately. So with that being said, so I'm going to talk about blogs for a second. If you hear anyone talk about content marketing, they're usually going to tell you to blog. They're going to tell you to blog all the time, like a crazy maniac blogger. And my little disclaimer about blogging is that if you're going to blog, blog. Really spend time into it, otherwise it's not worth it. Otherwise it's a lot of time and energy that you could be spending doing other things that you actually enjoy. So if you like writing, if you really, really like writing and you feel like you have a lot to say, blogging is a great way to spread the word. If you don't do it. It's fine. There are other channels. And that's a really important thing as a small business owner who has limited time and resources, is to say, what am I good at and what do I actually enjoy? Because if you spend that time doing things that, just because other people told you that that might be good, you're really wasting your efforts. So this is one place to look. We have our Wix blog. It's wix.com/blog. If you want to see kind of what a blog content looks like, we have posts every single day, Monday through Friday. That is a lot for most smaller companies. So you can blog once a week, once a month if it's really, really good. That's okay. Being consistent is much better than pumping out this content that's boring, that's not useful, or that's not even interesting for you to write. All right, second one. So escaping the super saturation of the web by diving into your niche. This is a really big one because a lot of people, okay, you see these big brands and you say, okay, I want to be at the top of Google, or when someone thinks of soda, I want them to think of me. If you're Coca-Cola, yes, that makes sense. If you are not Coca-Cola, okay, if you're not Coca-Cola or Pepsi or the ones that you think of, that's not going to work for you. And that's something, as someone who's starting out or someone who's on the local level, have to accept. If you look up design agency on Google, if you are a small boutique design firm, you have a handful of clients who love you, doesn't matter how good you are, you're probably not going to show up first on Google because there are huge design agencies with huge budgets and manpower again. So instead of that, try focusing your efforts on being the #1 web design agency for nonprofits in the San Francisco area. That is what you want to focus on. Another example, pizza. If you search that online, all that comes up is Papa John's, Pizza Hut, and Domino's. Those are like the #3 and that's it. If you are a pizzeria, that's not going to cut it for you, right? You want to be the best thin crust pizza in the meatpacking district. That's the area that you want to dominate. And it's okay to accept that. A lot of people think, okay, I want my target audience to be everybody. That's great, we all do, but that's probably not a good strategy for you unless you have the budget and the means to target everybody. So instead, focus your energies on this small niche, and this is a real life example. One of our Wix users, she is a Chicago bridal designer named Veronica. She makes these beautiful, beautiful gowns, but if you search Chicago bridal on Google, she doesn't come up. That's because there's outlets, there's these big stores that have been around for way longer than her that will come up first. So what she does instead is she focuses on the phrase Chicago luxury custom gowns. So whether that's on social media, whether that's on your website, your Google AdWords, advertisements, find these what we call long tail search phrases that you can really focus in on and make that number one. So say, I'm going to be the top of this category, let go of this one, I'm going to dominate this one, and that's going to be much, much more helpful for you. Okay, and the third one is really integrate everything all the time. Have this in your mind no matter where you are, what you're doing. So social media to your offline activities. So if you're at an event, tweet it out. Turn to the person next to you after this session and say, hey, what's your social media handle? I'm going to send out, I met this awesome person at this session at Market New York Expo today. Links in your email. You have that space underneath your email, right? Your signature space. That is huge advertising real estate for you. And if you're not taking advantage of it, then in a sense you're losing money, right? Because that's a great, great place for you to put things. You're emailing a lot of people who are your exact target audience. Some of them may be potential clients anyway. It's a great place to put new projects that you're working on, links to join your newsletter, links for your social media. So really, really use that space. And then meetings and follow-ups. Again, just constantly integrating all of your activities, whether they're online, offline, a mix of both. But you really have to keep this momentum going because as soon as you stop, everything around it stops, and it's much harder to get back on the ball if you do take a break. All right, so part 2. Things that you can actually do today, tomorrow, the next day for your social media that is going to help your business. So we're going to start off with the basics. So if you don't have a social media if you haven't started an Instagram account yet or a Twitter account yet, this is where you start. You have to choose your personality. Who are you going to be behind the scenes? This is the place to give a human factor to your business. So are you going to be Taco Bell? Are you going to be that fun, totally down-to-earth, kind of ridiculous personality? Or are you going to be the Wall Street Journal? You're going to be super educational, useful. Those are probably the two most popular and effective categories that you can be a part of, is either being funny or being useful. So if you're not funny, try to be useful. But if you are funny, really take advantage of that because that's helpful. These are examples of Instagram accounts from our own Wix users. This is, again, one girl in LA who sells cotton candy. She has a beautiful, beautiful Instagram account. We're going to go into this a little further, but you can definitely check out her work. And this is our own Wix account. And what we do mostly on our social media is we show behind the scenes photos because that's what our customers want to see on our Instagram handle, is some sort of humanness behind the platform. And you'll notice from both of these Instagram handles that the color scheme is really, really on point. Here she has all pastels, and here we have all bright colors. That's our thing. There's yellow, purple, orange, red, and I think there's some green in there, but they're very specific shades. They're these bright colors, and we use them in everything. So again, choosing your personality doesn't just start from the voice, but everything from the color, the content, the way you write, the captions, the hashtags you choose, all of that belongs in that personality. So first of all, making the decision there is really valuable. Okay, and then every time you post, you should have some sort of reason for why you're posting. Not just, I haven't posted today, so I'm going to put whatever out there. That's not a good reason to post on social media. So actionable and shareable are great words. If you can make a post that is one of those things or both of those things, that's amazing. And these are some ways to do that. So the reason why I say actionable or shareable is because they often have different functions. So if you want something to be actionable, you're going to say, okay, I want this group of tweets to make someone buy this specific product. Great. You need actionable posts. You need things with direct links to that product. You need to make sure you include your contact info. You need to make sure you include photos of that product, other people using that product. And really make it easy for them to make an action, to go to that next step. On the other hand, shareable should be on the other end of the spectrum, really cutting out the product side. So if you want other people to share this, again, on their personal profiles, their individuals, consumers, then you want to be as far away from, super heavy branded promotion as possible. So you want to have something like just a beautiful photo of your office view. Something like that is very shareable because you're not putting your logo in there, you're not selling a product. It's something that everyone likes, it's a nice photo, and that's much better for you. So choosing one of those areas for every single post is going to be very valuable for focusing your energy. Okay, sharing articles and resources and mentioning other people. Again, it's about networking online. That's what it is. It's not just pressing a button. So the more people you can get involved on your handle, on your username, the better off you're going to be. So share things that other people are writing. These are 3 easy posts that you can copy today and use over and over again. First one, just wanted to give a shout out. Shout out to someone that you are grateful for, that influenced you, that helped you along the way, an old boss, a mentor, whoever it is, or maybe it's a nonprofit organization that you really love. This is a great thing that you can do, and you can do this all the time. No one gets tired or annoyed when you're being grateful and honest on social media. So this is something that you can do, and it also helps you because if those people see, if the person that you mentioned sees this post, they're going to be, 1, very flattered, and 2, they might retweet you to maybe a bigger audience, right? If they're a mentor, they may be more successful at this point than you on social media, so if they retweet you, that's a huge audience for you. So constantly giving these shout outs, mentioning people that you are grateful for. Next one, sharing an article. This is great because you don't have to write the article. You can take someone's content and share that, and it takes 2 seconds rather than you sitting down and writing a blog post. Great. One thing that I see people do all the time is they'll just put a link to the article and say, awesome read, link. Why would I click that? I have no idea what it's about, who wrote it, why it's interesting. So make sure you include something about what the article is about, and then including the author's handle. So most journalists and reporters, pretty much all of them now are on Twitter because that's a huge medium for them. So you can find their handles online. It's not that hard. If you read an article and you hit the share button and you do that the lazy way, then you're just going to get Huffington Post or you're just going to get Bloomberg. But you want the author who wrote it because they're going to pay much more attention to you. They get much less attention than all of Bloomberg does. So find their handle, mention them online, give them credit. And the third one, again, something that most people don't think about because as business owners, you forget that you're also consumers. So I like to do this exercise is to look around you and see all of the products that you have in your hand. So I have my iPhone. I'm actually wearing a MailChimp t-shirt. MailChimp! We'll talk about that later. I have this Moo Cards box, Nestle water, Lenovo charger is in front of me. I'm in Market New York Expo, right? All of these things that I'm actually a part of that I don't even think about on the day-to-day because you're thinking about this as a business owner when you're also a consumer. So think about all of those products that you use because those companies will love you if you retweet. If you say, hey, at the end of this session, you say, hey, at Infusionsoft, at Wix, great session today. If you think it's great, that's fine. But
if it wasn't great, then you just quietly tell you and I just quietly whisper to us.
Right, yeah, don't put it on social media. I'm kidding. But if you put that out, our Wix handle, Infusionsoft handle, will love it. They're going to retweet you. They're going to reply to you. They're going to give you attention. They might follow you back. All of those things that would happen, and you're already using their product. It's not like you have to make something up or do something extra, right? So this is a great thing, again, you can do all the time. Whenever I'm flying somewhere for work or otherwise, I'll put in, thanks JetBlue for sending me off to somewhere warm. That's great because JetBlue has a much bigger following than me on social media. So if they retweet me, that's great for me. If they don't, who cares? All right, next step, creating visual content. So you see those tweets that are engaging, but really what pops out to you every time is an image. And this is hard for folks because photography scares a lot of people. It's often expensive to hire a photographer who can really get the job done well. But there are things that you can do with your iPhone that are different and a little more special than the usual photo. So I'm bringing this up because at first, okay, it's a product shot. It's a custard seller. She has some custard, some beans, I think. A towel, the scoops, all of those things that maybe are just lying around the kitchen. I'm sure her workspace does not look like this all the time. This is really gorgeously posed. And this is something you can do where, okay, I'm working at my computer and I want to show off my desk space and I want to tweet something like, working really hard on this new product that I'm creating. But what I'm doing is I'm not just going to take a picture like this. I'm going to put my computer on a nice backdrop. I'm going to put it on a clean table. I'm going to maybe arrange a couple pens and notepads around it. No one has to know that your workspace doesn't look like this all the time. That's not something for social media. You don't have to be honest in that sense. Make it really beautiful. Another thing she's doing here that you might not recognize offhand, but it's taken from above. So she's taken the time to maybe get a chair, stand up on it, and take a picture from above. That's something huge because it's going to look so much different from the other photos in the feed. Again, you're just trying to stand out from all of the other photos that are happening because there's a lot going on. People are taking a lot of great photos. Another one that you can do is putting text on top of images. So if you say, okay, my business is service-based, or it's not interesting to take photos of my products or what I do, then you can take stock photos or photos that you'd like and put announcements on them, tips on them, quotes, whatever you want to do. People really love that on Instagram. And even if you're not a designer or a photographer, you can do this pretty easily using a couple free tools. So think about layering text and photos in this way. Okay, so now we're going to look at this. This is the Instagram handle of that cotton candy vendor I told you about, Bonpoof. And I'm just going to analyze what kind of photos she is taking for Instagram. So this is a great exercise to do if you find a user that you really love or a company that you think is your role model. Go to their username, go to their Instagram handle, and just kind of map out what they're doing. It's okay. Copy these ideas. Even if you do try to copy them, they won't turn out the exact same way that they look here. Okay, so number one, I have this workspace shot. The second one I labeled as mood because it's not really a product shot. It's not even, it's just kind of this graphic shape. So it's kind of a mood thing. We have product shots, right? Those are pretty normal. She has a local scene, that's LA, that calls to her local fans. She has her live at an event. There's text on a photo at the bottom. There's a texture image. There's more of these like mood things. So just by mapping out what she's doing, now I have a schedule for myself. So see, all she did in April is those, 13 images. So I'm going to say I have no idea where to start. I'm going to start with 13 images for next month, and I'm going to do exactly this schedule. I'm going to do a photo of my workspace. Then I'm going to do a photo of like the mood of my brand. Then I'm going to do a photo of my product, and just kind of copy the way that other people are doing it successfully. Fake it till you make it. You'll come up with your own schedule soon, but this is a great way to start. Another example, so going back to that custard seller, I love both of their handles. Products at events. She has this one great post that's actually a recipe for a root beer float with their custard. And she did it in these 4 images in a block, so it's different, super shareable. That's something that I would want to share with other people. She has text on the photo at the bottom, again, other product images. And they're all at different angles and different scales. So that's also something to mix up what you're doing on your Instagram handle, because it's not just about that one photo, it's about this collage that you're making that represents you. Okay, so from that, what we've pulled from that, okay, so you can do a product photo on a clean background. That's an easy one. Layering text on top of a photo. Local scenic shot. New York City is the best place for that because everyone loves pictures of New York. Behind the scenes with the person who founded the company. And then workspace or work in progress, again, does not have to be completely real. That's fine. It can be something that you're working on and then you just rearrange them in a nice way. You don't have to expose your mess on social media. Make every single image perfect. So taking these ideas and saying, okay, now I have to somehow implement them in my social media. Well, the first thing that you want to do is size them correctly, right? So if you're going to create this content, you want to make it for the right size, in the right frames for the right platform. So this is something you can find online just by Googling social media image size cheat sheet. There are a lot of sources that do this. This is one that's brought to you by Constant Contact. But they have all of the dimensions of everything from the cover images on Facebook to your profile photo to the logo size on LinkedIn. All of that is there. So when you are taking these photos, you know, if I take a beautiful shot of my product, I don't want to just put it on Instagram and never see it again. I probably want to use that for Facebook one day, for Pinterest one day, for my LinkedIn profile. So you can spread out the use of this content, right? It doesn't have to be one shot equals one piece of content. It can be one shot equals 6 months worth of content down the line. And these are some tools that you can use to help you create these content items. Unsplash and Pixabay are both sites where you can find beautiful, what do you call it? You can use these photos without paying. You can use these photos without attributing anybody. So they're actually just free to use for you. Pixabay and Unsplash. Clipping Magic is a website where they actually cut out the background of your product shot. So if you aren't a professional photographer, you're not willing to make the investment, that's fine. Take a photo of your product on a relatively clean background, upload it to Clipping Magic, and they will cut out the background for you, and it'll be white or whatever you want it to be. This is great for your online store, for your Instagram, for any photos. PicMonkey and Canva are both photo editing tools. So once you have that great photo, you want to put text on it or a filter on it. PicMonkey and Canva are both free and premium, so you can use most of the features for free. Yeah?
Do those have apps as well, or are they only online?
They have apps as well. Unsplash and Pixabay are only online. I mean, you can look at them on your phone, but you have to download the images, which are can be 6,000 pixels wide, so doesn't really make sense to do on your phone. Oh my god. This tastes like lemon, by the way.
Is that good or bad?
It's surprising every single time. I'm like, what happened? Okay, anyway. All right, and then the third piece is interaction. So actual interaction all the time. People always ask, how do I get more followers? How do I get more followers? Interact with people. Because this is the first place everyone looks when they log into social media platform. They go to their notifications because everyone wants to know what's happening to me, who's talking about me, who's following me. It's all about them. So that's fine. Give it to them. So follow people. One thing I like to do is to go to a competitor's username. So say if I shouldn't talk about competitors, but if I am in Fusionsoft, for instance, and I want to get more followers, then maybe I'll go to the Salesforce username, and I'll see who's following Salesforce. And I'll just go down the line and follow all of those people because maybe they've never heard of me, and that's the reason why they've never become my customer. So what I need to do is appear in this area here. And how do I do that? I follow them, I favorite, I comment on their tweets. This is the best thing you can do, and most effective use of your time for sure. Another great thing that you can do is mention other people, like we said, and get yourself retweeted. All of these people tweeted something at Wix and got retweeted by us to our almost 300,000 Twitter followers. That's huge. For someone who has 500 Twitter followers, to get retweeted by someone who has 300,000 is huge. That's multiplying your audience. So always mention people, bring people into your Twitter universe. I don't know how to say that. But like I said, Wix has almost 3,000 followers, and that's something you can just kind of piggyback on. And this is just one of many accounts in the world that you can mention and that you are valuable to. Another thing that people don't know about too much, but Twitter chats. So how many people here are totally comfortable with hashtags? Yeah, half. Okay, that's pretty good actually. For those of you who aren't super comfortable with hashtags, basically they're just tags that loop different pieces of content together from all over the world, from all different times. So you can do something called a chat where people are tweeting from, again, all over the world at different times about different things, but they use the hashtag, for instance, Adweek chat to bring them all together in one feed. So that way, if I search up Adweek chat, I'll see all of the tweets that were ever posted with that hashtag on it. So a great thing that brands have been doing is they've been doing these things where you can all get online at the same time and post about a similar topic. So Adweek Chat, for instance, does this once a week where they post questions. A couple weeks ago it was about women in business, so that was one I participated in. They had 5 questions that they posted, and hundreds of people posted responses, their own answers to all those questions, all looped in under Adweek Chat. And great thing for me to do as a participant is that as soon as I started participating in these chats, everyone else who was participating in these chats saw what I was posting. They associated me with something that they want to be associated with, so they followed me. I think I got 100 follows that day without barely even trying. I don't even work on my personal account. But that is one thing you can do that's easy, that's fun, that's interesting, and content that you don't even have to create yourself. Okay, and then the bulk stuff. So if you want to really, really grow your social media, you have to kind of take it to the next level. Doing this kind of organic one-by-one commenting and stuff is great. But if you want to do it in bulk, there are apps like Crowdfire. That is one that I've used. I can't comment on the other platforms because I haven't used them. But Crowdfire, spelled exactly how it sounds, lets you follow, unfollow people very quickly. So you still have to do it manually. You have to click every single one, but they do it in such a way that you can just sit at your computer and kind of do this for a while, and it follows hundreds of people. So like I said again, I work for Infusionsoft, and then I go to the Salesforce username, I look at all of the people that follow them, and I just click. 200 people in about 2 minutes. And maybe 10% of those people will follow me back. Maybe 50% of them will see my name and not follow me back. That's great. Those people have never heard of you before. That's a huge up for you. So using apps like these can really help you, and if you do them every day, you will grow your following faster than anyone else can do for you. Okay, and these are other tools that you can use to schedule things ahead of time. Buffer, TweetDeck, Hootsuite, Sprout Social, those are all very similar. They let you schedule posts ahead of time, choose when they're going out. They provide very good analytics for your social media, and you can do multiple accounts at once. That's really helpful. Latergram I included in there because Instagram does not let you schedule things ahead of time. Makes it a drag. Instagram also does not let you follow more than X amount of people per hour, or unfollow X amount of people per hour. So that's something you really have to do. You can also only do it on your phone. So Instagram has all these rules to make you more of a human than other platforms. So Latergram is actually an app that made a workaround around those rules, where they're not technically scheduling them ahead of time for you, but they save the content on your phone. So you can write out all the content, have it saved, and then when that day and time comes, I'll get a notification saying, do you want to push out this message? And all I do is swipe. So that's a great app to schedule Instagram posts, and it's one of the few out there that exist because of those rules. So again, great tools that you can use for analytics, scheduling, managing multiple accounts. All right, so that's a lot. And so the question I always get is, how the hell do I do this when I have a business to run? I have like a baby crying at home, and it's like all the stuff that you're doing. I know that is 10 times more important, at least, than your social media accounts. But we can make this easy. We can really do this. And one way I like to say that you can do this is make yourself a schedule. Okay, this is my social media schedule. It's 1 week. And I'm going to do every week on the same day, I'm going to do the same thing. That's going to help me clear up my mind, make sure that I know what I'm doing, and it also lets me say, I'm only going to post 3 times a week. That's all I can do, and that's fine. Just do it every single week. So this lets you say, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, yeah. I'm not touching my social media handle. I'm going to do other things. Those are not days I'm going to be online. That's fine, but set those up, okay? So here are the 3 rows that are going across. So type of posts, setting up what kind of post you're going to do every single day, 3 times a week, 4 times a week, once a week, doesn't matter. Just make sure it's consistent. Makes your life a lot easier, because if you say on Monday I'm going to Instagram out a product photo, then you can spend 2 hours on Sunday taking like 1,000 product photos and setting them up for the next 3 months. Fine, every single Monday that's going to go out. You no longer have to worry about social media on Mondays. Here we go. Come back. 1 second. Okay, we're back. So the first thing I want to do, right? Okay. So on my schedule, I say Monday through Friday are going to be my posts. I'm going to post 5 times a week. Weekends, I am off social media duty. And this is my schedule. I'm going to do behind the scenes on Thursday, product photos on Tuesdays and Fridays, all that you can read. Next thing I'm going to do is make a time for me to create and schedule all those posts. Because I don't want to be creating and scheduling when I'm actually posting, because I'm going to miss those times. It's going to be Tuesday, it's going to be 4 o'clock, I'm going to have a meeting, and I'm just not going to post. So set aside different days for scheduling and creating your content. So Sunday and Saturday, I'm going to set aside 2 hours both those days, and create all of my content for the whole month on the weekend. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have May done. And then interacting. So I separate these things because creating content might mean that you have your camera out on the street and you're editing photos. It's a different feel than interacting with your audience. So separating that also helps you. And again, also coordinating your interaction time with the time that you're posting your social media also helps. Because if you're interacting with people all day, but you haven't posted since last week, then that's not really great for you, right? Because they're seeing that you're inactive. So kind of coordinating that and saying Monday at 12 p.m. I'm going to post my shout out. And then Monday from 1 to 1:30 p.m., right? Conveniently half an hour right after lunch, I'm going to do my interaction homework. And set goals for yourself. So I have on my goals, I say, I'm going to do just half an hour after lunch every single weekday. I'm going to follow and favorite 50 people each. I'm going to comment 3 times. Those are going to be my goals for that half an hour. And it'll go faster every time you do it. You can increase those goals and you'll see real results. So no one's going to get discouraged by this because this actually gets you followers. And I have this one tip at the bottom that's saying also unfollow people as you're working, because you don't want to have, you don't want to be following 10,000 people when only 30 people are following you back. That looks kind of shady on your part. So at the same time that you're adding, also keep subtracting and weeding out the people who are not really interested, who are not following you back, all of that. So this is your social media schedule. So this is something you can make again. I just made this simple chart on Google Docs. You can just write it out, whiteboard, whatever you need to do. But just a weekly schedule, block out times, and how much time do I have left? None. Okay. And I think that's it. Yeah. So this is my contact information. The Wix Lounge, again, is where you can get free Wix support. We also have free co-working office space for our Wix users that you can apply for. Our support number if you need help with a website, or the email if you need help with the website platform. But again, feel free to contact me with any questions that you have. Come on up and I'll give you my card. And I think we have time for like 2 questions before we wrap up.
And before we get to the questions, I do want to say that Wix is
Yeah.
legit. If you haven't checked their site or their office, I would highly suggest you do it. I built 10 sites on Wix, give or take, and even my own branded site, RamonRay.com. So Wix is legit.
Yeah.
And a few other things to say. Let's take questions first. So,
Awesome.
First 2 questions.
Yeah.
Whoever stumps Christine with a social question, I will give $1.
And that's it? That's all I'm worth?
$2.
Yeah, sure. In the back, yeah.
I've been playing a little bit around with Pinterest.
Okay.
What's the same as Instagram? Is that something?
So it works a little differently. It's similar in the same ways that you can interact with other users, you can comment on what they're doing, and you can get followings that way. But it's a little different because you're collecting other people's content. So it's not necessarily that you're putting out your own posts, but you're going through the world of the web and you're collecting things that you like. So that's a great place for you to collect things like, say, if you are an interior designer and you want to spread the word about what you do, then it's a great way to share your taste rather than your own work.
So you can't put your own work.
You can put your own work, but it's really not meant for that. You should put your own work, but also mix it in with other people's because it's all about sharing that kind of recognition on Pinterest. And there are very specific industries where Pinterest is great. The audience is almost, I think it's about 80% women. And if you're in the bridal industry, if you are in floral, interior design, illustration, crafts, anything in that kind of realm, you must be on Pinterest. If you're not, Instagram is fine. Yeah.
What's your opinion on if you've got like a really beautiful picture or video or whatever that kind of meets all of your initial criteria? What's your opinion on using that on all of your socials? Do you feel like you have to have different stuff for all of these different channels? Or if you have something that meets that, can you use it on all of your feeds?
So I would say it depends on the different kinds of audiences on each channel. If you notice that the same people are on every single channel, then you probably want to do different things because they're seeing it 10 times. But if you notice that the people on Instagram are a certain age range and then people on Facebook are a certain age range or a different demographic, that's totally fine because it's different people. And you can also stagger it out. So for instance, you can put out so if someone is on social media at 2 p.m. on Tuesday, they probably have all of their social media going on at 2 p.m. on Tuesday. They're looking at Instagram on their phone, they're switching between Pinterest and Facebook on their computer. It's like their social media time. So instead, stagger it out. So you say, okay, I'm going to put this photo out on Facebook on Tuesday, I'm going to put it out on Instagram on Wednesday, so that way different people who are online will see it. So that might be an easy solution for that. Yeah.
Was that question 2 or question 1 still?
That was 2 already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Third question, we got to wrap it up.
Great. Last one.
Yeah, I'm considering to embed a blog into my online jewelry store.
Okay.
Just to, create content and tell about new arrival and sell and stuff like that. So, how do I interact with my customer? I know, how much can you post things that you receive? Maybe you just mentioned you can just sell all the time. So, would you post something that's unrelated to the jewelry? Is it good, bad idea, or what do the customers expect to do?
So think about what your customers want. So if they are customers who are buying jewelry because they want to be fashionable, maybe they want other tips on how to be fashionable in other ways. So in that way, it's relating to your business, but it's not necessary to talk about jewelry all the time. So you're saying these styles are in for sweaters, or this celebrity was seen wearing this. So those things don't necessarily have to do with your own products, which is fine. But on the other hand, I wouldn't post just like random interesting content on your blog just to get traffic in the door, because that makes no sense to what you're doing. And another thing that's great is that if you have clients already that you can share stories about, people love it when you write about them. So if you can say, here's a photo of my amazing client, Jane Doe, who is wearing the jewelry. So sharing user stories, client stories, great way to promote your business indirectly, not selling anything, also give them an incentive to share the content. So yeah, if you have any other questions, come find me. Yeah, thank you so much.